Our third speaker today is Steve Johnson. Steve will be presenting speech number 9, Persuade with Power from the Competent Communication Manual. The goal for this project is to present a persuasive speech that combines logical support for his viewpoint with strong emotional appeal. The speech is to focus on self-interest of the audience. The speech's final goal is to avoid utilizing notes. It is a 5 to 7 minute presentation. Steve's speech is titled Mastering the Art of the Segue. Segue is spelled S-E-G-U-E, and his speech will focus on the importance of learning to prepare yourself to master the art of segueing gracefully from someone else's chosen topic to what you really want to speak about in impromptu speaking situations. This is a skill that all Toastmasters and Toastmasters-to-be will benefit from mastering. Please join me in welcoming Steve Johnson to the lecture, Mastering the Art of the Segue. Steve Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. It's a pleasure to be here today. And at first, I want to have you imagine something. Imagine walking into a room filled with people, and imagine that you are there to try to get to know these people. And you step into the room, and suddenly you say, oh my gosh, I didn't expect there to be 250 people here. This is overwhelming. And then you take another step boldly into the room, and you realize that really it's just little clusters of people around the room. 2 and 3 here, 4 people over here. You say, well, okay, that's okay. It's a small group of people. I don't have to appeal to everything all at the same time. I don't have to speak to everybody. I can talk to 2 or 3 people. So you take another tentative step into the room, and you start hearing the conversations. There's a cacophony of sounds and topics going on. So you gracefully sort of meander by one of those little groups, and they're talking about political speeches. You say, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about political speeches, so you walk the other way. You don't want to talk about that. So you hear this other group, and they're talking about unicorns and rainbows. And you say, oh my gosh, I haven't talked about that since junior high school. I don't want to talk about unicorns and rainbows. So you keep going, and you work the way. And finally, at the back of the room, or the other side of the room, God is with you because there's a group of people talking about your favorite topic. And so you quickly join that group, and you just have a great time talking with them. Well, how many times, by a show of hands, have you had something similar to that, walking into a room and not feeling comfortable with the people that are there? Okay, it seems to be a universal feeling. So this is a good topic for you, because what I want to talk to you about is finding the segue into any one of those conversations going on in the room. And I want to have you focus on who is in the group that you want to meet, rather than focusing on what they're talking about at the moment. Because you can always segue, transition, pivot the conversation into what you want to talk about. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Do you have those skills? Somewhat. Some people, well, no. Okay. Well, that's what I'm here to do today, to talk to you about, is mastering the art of the segue. And what I'm talking about is not the 2-wheeled device that you step on and you move all around. This is, as Jan said, Segue, S-E-G-U-E. So we're going to talk about segueing. And what I want to have you first do, you each have a slip of paper. I want to have you on that piece of paper write down a topic that you're passionate about, that you want to talk about, that you need to talk about. For instance, if it was me, I'd be writing down looking for a job, because that's what I'm passionate about at the moment. I want to find a job, and so I want to talk to every little group of people that I can reach about my situation. So write down whatever it is for you that you feel passionate about. And make it legible, because I might be reading one of them. All right, it seems everybody has that. Great, thank you. Now, what I'd like to do is to ask for a volunteer, not to talk about that, but to volunteer to walk into the middle of a group that's talking about something else, something that you feel comfortable walking through an example, an analysis of what to do when you walk into a group of people talking about something you don't particularly enjoy. Could I have a volunteer? Yes? Okay, Sean, great.
Sure.
Sean. Thank you for volunteering, Sean.
No problem.
So, I'm going to ask for somebody to give me their slip of paper. Somebody that wouldn't mind me reading out loud what your favorite topic is. Thank you. Sarah. Sarah is talking about pets. So she's in a little cluster of people talking about pets. Everything about pets. And I don't know what your feeling is, positive or negative about pets. You don't have to say. It's just, Sarah is somebody who, Sarah and the people that she's talking with are in a group of people that you want to get to know for a business reason, let's say. And you have your own topic that you want to get to. And I'd like you to share with me what was written on your piece of paper.
Well, I enjoy talking about sports.
Okay, so here we have pets on one hand. And we have sports on the other hand, specifically football. Okay, football. So how do we get from pets to football in a conversation? Because when he walks into Sarah's group, he's going to want to change the conversation, segue, transition, politely, courteously, from pets to football. So let's just analyze this situation, Sean. We start out, we would want to probably acknowledge the fact that pets exist, even though we might think they're pests. No offense. And what do we do? What can we do? And we'll open this up to the audience, but I want to have you give me an idea of where you might go with that to change that conversation, to segue from pet topics to football.
Look at anything similar between the two. In between football and pets, there's sports, running. You enjoy running with your dog.
That's a perfect
Or
match.
pet, if it's a dog.
If it's a dog.
If it's a cat, that won't work.
Yeah. Is there a specific pet that you have in mind?
Well, I have dogs, cats, and fish.
Dogs, cats, and fish.
I can't walk with fish.
Okay, that's good. So there's one transition to talk about running and doing a sport and then running football. I'm thinking of a little Pekingese and, oh, well, maybe that wouldn't be so polite. Throwing the Pekingese down the field to another football player.
Or riding frisbee.
I mean, what are pigskins made of?
That would go really well.
No, that would not be polite. So there has to be a good way, and you could do that as a humorous way if Sarah and her group seem to open to transitioning that way. This is a great little topic. Does anybody have any ideas of how you segue from
How about mascots?
mascots?
Well, like
Oh, that's
Georgia.
great. You
Georgia,
could find your
you have
in.
Ugga is the
Yeah.
dog.
You could find your in to talking about football by talking about mascots. That's awesome. What a great suggestion. So thank you, Sean. I want to have you. So this was a very quick example to show you how to transition. And it's a very important topic, I'll tell you, for Toastmasters. Because there is table topics. And table topics, you can master that by thinking about what you want to say and preparing your speech ahead of time. And you say, well, how can I do that? Because I have no idea what the table topic is going to be. Well, you can prepare whatever you want to say and find that right segue from whatever may happen, from pets to football, or whatever it may be. Each of you has your own topic there. And I did a segue once in a table topics contest meeting. The topic I was presented with was, it was a quote from the Bible about going the extra mile. Well, I wanted to talk about prunes and the advice that my father gave me. So I found the segue through the advice that my father gave me, such as going the extra mile, doing the extra deed, to talking about prunes. And I came in second place. And that was just wonderful because, as everybody knows, when you talk about prunes, a good number 2 is as good as it gets.